2026. We'll start with Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Adoption of the agenda. Nothing. No additions, I don't believe. Public comment.
Go for it.
I think you're up.
Thank you very much. My name is Sue Hawks, and my issue this evening that I'd like to present to the town, and who knows what can happen. If you don't know, you can't try to fix it. So the issue is Bethel Point Town Landing. Oh, by the way, do you want Dottie to come up because she has the same issue?
It's up to you guys.
You want to come up? Whatever.
You can do it together.
It's your chance to speak.
so-
However you want to do it.
We own property. I own property on the west side of the town landing. It was my Uncle John Eastman's property. So we're fishermen. Our boys use it, plus we have nephews and a couple friends. So about 7 people use that wharf. So I'd like to state, we have absolutely no problems with clam diggers. They are in and out, they do their thing. We don't have a problem with our local commercial boat haulers, once again, in and out. So I hate to say this, because I hate to label, but it's the kayakers that are the issue. We have driveways there, they always block the driveway. They always are very nice, usually, and say, I'm only gonna be a minute. Well, how many times, and it's more than a minute, how many times a day, do we have that? I've had a couple of my fishermen were blocked in. We either can't get in or they can't get off the wharf and about their business. And as fishermen, as you know, we work with the tide lots of times too. So we have 7 signs on our property that say, please do not block the driveway. Please, this is not a turnaround. Doesn't matter. We have had a couple commercial boat haulers in the past, not out-of-towners, not in town. We have rocks along our property. They've moved those, by backing in, moved the line. So that's issues. And I have contacted them, and they all say they're sorry or whatever. So let's see, what else goes on there? Some of them are very nice, but some of them, so my family of fishermen, they work the property. When I go over, I go to relax, do whatever. My property, we like to share. We share it with a lot of people. I don't go over there to be confrontational to people that are either blocking me in or keeping me from going in. It's no fun. It takes away the enjoyment.
And I can say one day that she had people in her driveway, kayakers, there were 2 or 3 of them parked actually in the driveway. I went over and told them no parking, it's a commercial wharf, it's an active wharf, and they said they didn't see the signs. And actually at that time I counted 9 signs. They were parked right beside them.
Do they park there while they're unloading, or, what?
When
Yeah.
they're unloaded, and I'll tell you another quirky thing, and I don't get, by the way, we're kayakers. All our family, we love it, so it's not that we're against this type of entertainment or anything. So they'll pull up along the side, they unload, and if it's more than one, they put their kayaks end to end. So we have 2 driveways going into our wharf, so they're apt to block the whole thing. And sometimes their paddles, they go end to end. It doesn't make sense. like I say, I don't like to confront them, unfortunately. The 2 times I did, I went up and said, just curious.
Why?
It's clearly a driveway, And then it ended up they were people that knew good people that I know. So I kind of was embarrassed. I felt bad. So I think I've spoken to you, Christy, in the past, a couple of years ago. Anyway, there were stewards sent over there a couple of years ago. The timing of when this mass blockage and confusion, it's never consistent. You can generally count on it being a very, very hot day that it's apt to happen. But so the steward did show up. It's empty. It's beautiful. It's calm. It's, whatever. And also this year, the town did not put a portable toilet, which they did up by the boatyard. So we have one on our property. That, of course, gets high usage. Or
Or the boat ramp.
behind the toilet on the beach.
Yeah. I actually saw a woman the other day, watched her walk down with her roll of toilet paper and squat down on the beach in the rocks. And several men, sorry men, we know what you're doing when you're standing there with your back to. We can tell.
So I thought of potentially a couple solutions maybe, but who knows? One, perhaps a sign up by Bethel Point Boatyard that says that there is no turnaround.
There definitely
they
should
gotta
be a sign.
pull in there and back down,
Back
which is
down.
a distance, nothing I could do. But if they
I
have boats.
actually have a sign at the end of my driveway that says no trailer turnaround, because I've had people back into back a boat and trailer with the outboard on the back, backing into my driveway. I've actually had my vehicles hit in my driveway. So like I say, I put up a sign that says no trailer turnaround. I do feel bad for the people who have never been down there before and don't realize they get down there, I can't turn around, what do I do? I personally am not the best. I can back a trailer, but would prefer not to.
Right.
I know how I would feel if I drove down and couldn't turn around, so there really should be a
Well, we could
sign
put a sign,
warning
whether
them.
somebody's going to read it or
Well,
not.
that's the point.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. They don't read my 7 sign. So, by the way, Dottie's place is on the east side of the town, Landon. So we're neighbors.
Right.
And she has cameras, so she can always tell me what's
I
going
see all
on, which
kinds of
is
fun things.
incredible. Then the other one, I had somebody, because I've talked about it, and I thought, you need to go to the town. They don't know about it. Is they said, well, why don't you put up a sign that said they could be towed? Generally, they're not there long enough for
Right.
the sheriff or a tow truck. I mean, it's not just minutes. It can be 15 to 20 minutes. And the people out on the island, they're fine. They know what they're doing. They put their things, so it's
Yep.
this issue. And then,
And there is space on my side of the road. I know I've changed things a little bit there since I built the house and changed the driveway around, but there is quite a bit of space along the fence. Currently, there's a handicap space that's kind of right in the middle of everything. If that were pushed up, because ahead of that space is a loading zone, but nobody uses that because they'd have to parallel park to get in there. If the handicap space were pushed up, then I think people would be more apt to use the space by the fence on my side
Right.
of the road.
well, I did call.
And then they would be out of their way.
I did call Ronnie Ponziani, because what happens during the winter with plowing, the sand gets built up on each side, so we're almost losing 2 parking places for other people, not for us. So if that sand or whatever could be removed, which he's working on it. He was very nice about it. He's done it before. So, and then, and this isn't just August, Duck hunters,
Yes, they're obnoxious.
they'll
They
block.
block both sides of the road, the middle of the road. I've had times when from my driveway down to the boatyard, the whole road was blocked because they're parked on both sides. They're in the middle of the road taking pictures with their ducks, and and I will, approach them, showing that I'm trying to get out. They just look at me and turn around and ignore me.
So, I mean, it's a constant, it's kind of a constant thing. Kim Peeler was gonna come tonight. She's one of the owners of Bethel Point Boatyard, and they allow very inexpensive parking. And even she's having issues with, but you'd wanna hear it from her, with people just either, I don't know, whether they're feeling entitled or not. And I hate to label, I hate that label, because some of them are, I'm not labeling them all, but we get our fair share of not so nice people. So,
Yeah.
that's all I have to say.
The other thing I wanted to bring up, I don't know if anybody has considered putting a no wake sign out by the boat ramp. We've seen several incidents of people trying to launch boats and people going by. Some people slow down to half throttle, which anybody who has a boat knows that's the worst speed. You make the biggest wake possible. I mean, either slow down or go wide open, but one day I saw, and I'm ashamed to say, it was 2 lobster boats racing through there. There was a woman on the boat ramp holding the boat. Her husband had gone up to park the truck, and it was
Dangerous.
really bad. I mean, she could have been killed. The boat was up over her head as she's trying to hang on to it.
Well,
So,
our harbor master
It was-
happens to be here tonight.
Yeah,
okay.
but
But that was scary. But it is, I mean, it used to be a kind of common courtesy that people would slow down going
Understood
through a
that,
field of
yeah.
boats, and it's not anymore. Nobody
Right.
slows down.
No, they're-
about half.
yeah.
Right,
I've
right.
got one right beside my boat, and my wife would go out there, yell all day at them, and I go, they just look at you, and I go,
Right.
there's like 5 right along the yacht club.
Yeah.
I'm at the other end, but,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I
they-
mean,
they-
it's not we're just complaining because we expect this pristine world.
No.
I mean, I don't live at Bethel Point, but we're there a lot. We
Yeah.
work there. Dottie does live there.
yeah.
So, like I said, we're willing to share and everything, but some of these are dangerous, let alone the damage to our boats that can be at our wharf.
Oh, yeah.
Loading or unloading traps and what.
Shall
It's an
we,
issue.
shall we,
It'd be nice to make a public comment, because the chair of the town lands committee's here. Recreation director's here. the
Oh,
master's here.
okay,
All the people
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that needed to hear this.
We'll stick them all on it.
yeah, we need to revisit the parking traffic
And I
situation
know it's
on
not
it.
gonna be instant, I mean, it's stuff you're gonna have to work on, but, wait, if we don't address it, you don't know,
Right.
you can't fix it.
So if that's the case, then I'm gonna add one more thing. Anybody who's been down on the boat ramp knows there are lines that go across the road right by the ramp.
Wire
Mine
lines?
included, but
Electrical wire, power?
cable and power.
Uh-huh.
My power lines go across, because the pole goes to your fish house and then
Right,
across.
right.
So when we built, I actually had suggested to somebody we were dealing with at the town that we put the lines underground, and that would have to include Pulvers as well, because their lines also cross the road. And they basically told me that wasn't the town's issue. So
Well,
I
that's it,
didn't,
yeah.
because I know to do that, put lines under a town road is quite a bit of permits and fees.
It's expensive.
Expensive, yes.
It's
So
not that
I didn't
tough, but
pursue it, because I mean, it wouldn't do any good for just me to do it and not have
Still have other
Pulvers
lines.
taken care of as well. So there was a cable line that was very low. Apparently, they're supposed to be 14 feet above the road. I don't think this line was, but it has been that way a long time. Most of the boat haulers just have somebody on top of the boat with a gaff, and they lift it as they go under. The other day, the steward was down there. I mentioned it to him. He said he'd make a note of it, and it was maybe a week later. A boat hauler came along and snagged it and hauled it down, so.
problem solved.
It's-
There we go.
it's-
And they did Comcast, that was the cable line. Comcast came the next day, and it is higher now. But I don't know if those lines could be buried, it definitely would help with people stopping, blocking our driveways, because they could at least pull up to the boatyard, or, I mean, I know the whole Bethel Point Road, there's lines going across, but at least the sailboats or what it could get out of the way. and not have to stop right on the boat ramp to get their masts down, so,
They usually raise the power lines. Down at Garrison Cove, they put new poles and raised them, so
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
that's a lot cheaper, so.
that would help
And
too.
they should
Okay.
have one of those red balls on them to tell people, you know, the sailboat mast is liable to hit
Right.
that. Yeah, or have you spoken to the power company about that, or the
I have
utilities?
not, I could,
We'll put our road commissioner on it.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
It's their responsibility to
Okay.
do that.
Yep.
And
Okay.
Really, at a boat launch, you should be underground.
right,
Yeah.
that made sense
All
to
right.
me. but-
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Righty, thank you.
Katie
and
Neal,
Rec.
Parks and Rec. I was only going to say that it sounded like you had a lot of solutions, and so rather than me coming up with solutions, maybe we just want to meet and you can walk me through your ideas, and I'll get your contact information.
Probably a site visit, huh?
Sounds lovely. Thanks.
You're not putting me on a committee, are you? Yes. Oh, no.
All right. Where are we now? Is that it for public comment? Yep. Select board announcements?
I think I'm dried up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have one here. As most people know, the town was a victim of cybersecurity fraud involving a misdirected municipal payment. We want to provide the community with a brief update. The vendor associated with the disputed invoice has issued a notice of lien claim. This is a standard legal mechanism vendors use to preserve their rights and comply with a statutory filing deadline. It does not reflect a determination of fault or the final resolution of this matter. The town continues to work diligently to address the cybersecurity incident and protect the interests of the town and its residents. We will provide further updates as the situation develops and circumstances permit. We thank the community for their patience. So that's all we know about that right now. It's an ongoing. All right, nothing to do too. Town administrator's report?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everyone. I do want to make sure everyone who is watching or is here understands that the Select Board, in their role as assessors, set the mill rate yesterday, and it was $4.84. So the tax bills are hopefully going to go out, would we say the end of next week, conceivably? It's hard to say, but the tax collector will be able to tell people what they owe if people want to pay in advance of receiving the tax bill. And I think another important piece to remind people about is there is an appeal period. If you receive your tax bill and you still believe that there is inaccurate information about your property and your assessed value, you do have an opportunity to file an abatement within, I believe it's 185 days. It will say that on your tax bill, and that process is one that will happen at the town office, most likely with the assessor's agent, Debbie Turner, but there will be opportunities to have the company, Vision Government Solutions, available to help with that process if need be. So I know a lot of people may have missed an opportunity to schedule a meeting to find out about their assessed value. They can certainly contact the assessor's office with questions. They can look at the website. They can see what their neighborhood, the surrounding properties are valued at and do a lot of comparison. But if you do believe there are inaccuracies, you have that opportunity to file an appeal and go through the local process. Second item, I just received notification today from the Maine CDC that there was a raccoon in Harpswell that tested positive for rabies. I did contact the CDC to find out where in Harpswell because I knew that would be the first question I would be asked. And they said it's their policy not to give specific locations. They're protecting the confidentiality of anyone's property or person who may have been involved. So they say it's important for people to realize that, you know, these animals travel. It's wildlife, you should be very careful, and if it's in one area in Harpswell, it can be in another area in Harpswell. So I just wanted to make sure people understood that. We'll have that information posted on our website as well. And I think my last item, I wanted to ask Tony Simmons from the code office if he would just give a brief update on our process to fix the back wall of the salt shed because we've got to start thinking about winter, unfortunately. And that's a project that's on our radar screen, and Tony's involved in helping us with that.
Yes, I'm Tony Simmons, Code Office. Yes, we've engaged with an engineer to come up with a plan for the repair of the salt shed. We wanted to have everybody playing off the same sheet of music when they bid on it, instead of having people just come in and say, oh, I can fix it for 20 grand or whatever. We want the same thing for everybody. So Helen Watt has been coming up with a plan, a long-term plan for us to lengthen the life of the salt shed, which is frankly getting in pretty rough shape in spots. We've broken it up. We're having just the immediate necessary part fixed, which is the back wall, which is blown out, and the lateral bracing that holds that in. So we'd like to we're coming up with a firm plan for just the back wall right now, and would like to put that out to bid so we can get it hopefully fixed before the snow flies. Time's getting kind of short. And so that's where we are. Helen's got a long-term plan for us if we want to spend the money and address some of the things with the concrete's starting to get pretty punky on the salt storage side. There are some rafters that are damaged from trucks pulling in with their beds up. It's all stuff that's not immediately threatening, but for the longevity of the building should be attended to in the future. But for now, we're just going to concentrate on that back wall to keep the snow out of the place, and that's what I have. I have not got a final plan from her yet. She's hopefully to be coming up with that by middle of next week, I think. So that's where we are on that.
Thank you, Tony. I think what we're looking for is authorization from the board to put that out to bid based on the information from the engineer. We don't want to wait 2 more weeks because we've got to get this out to companies, give them a couple weeks to respond, and then, have the work done before, hopefully, October.
I will move that we put it out to bid. Get
Oh,
Yeah.
I will second it.
And as soon as we get the language,
As soon as we get the language.
the three of us will get it, look it over, then,
Yeah.
yep.
Good.
Go. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Consent agenda.
I will move the consent agenda, which is the approval of the minutes, the treasurer's report, and the authorization of the warrants.
Yeah, I second it.
See, no discussion, all in favor? All right. Interim fire administrator status. I'm recommending that we move Frank True right to full-time, Holly Mudd of interim, full support of all the fire departments, to say the least. And we're not gonna do any better, that's for sure.
I've heard 0 complaints.
No,
Well, we could search, but we wouldn't find anybody better.
No, it'd
He's
be-
local, he certainly knows his business, and he's been absolutely dedicated to this job so far. And besides, he promised to give me $20 if I vote for him.
You can abstain.
Jesus.
Anyway, so I'm making a motion that we move Frank to full-time
second
status.
it.
All right. All in favor? All right. Sorry, Frank. Wharf applications? You gonna speak to those, Tony?
I got those. Do you have you care which one's first?
Nope, we don't.
All right, we have 2 wharf applications, one for Lehman Road, map 28, lot 7-1, lot 74-1, excuse me. It's to replace a commercial wharf, which we had been trying to get them to do some repair work on, and lo and behold, the storm of January took care of it for us. It's gone, no longer a problem. The current owner would like to replace that with a residential wharf that is much more conforming, will have the setbacks we need on the property line. The ramp and float will go straight out from a shortened wharf will not cross any riparian lines, and altogether be quite a bit better for the neighborhood than the large non-conforming wharf. However, it won't be commercial.
Did this one, weren't they going to have it right up, and the neighbors give them an easement on the north side?
I believe I'm not entirely sure, but I believe that was original, and now the current owner has opted to just go with the smaller footprint.
On the south side of the building? Is that right, Kelly?
The north side, I believe, is getting smaller.
Looks like the south side.
Huh?
Looks like south.
No,
Maybe.
I thought originally the building was kind of on the property line, and they were getting an easement from the neighbors. Mm-hmm. It probably doesn't matter that much right now, but I'm just curious how that got resolved.
As it is now, the wharf has gone down to a 6-foot wide wharf, so it's back from both setbacks
Yeah,
completely,
all right,
and no longer encroaching on
all right,
either property line. Comes out, and the ramp is coming directly off the wharf now instead of perpendicular, and it now no longer crosses any riparian lines
Yep.
either, which is better, and doesn't extend any further into the bay than it did.
I'm good.
yeah, I'm fine with it. We'll do them both at the same time.
Okay. Second wharf is at 8 Keys Lane, map 30, lot 118. It's in a commercial fishing zone. It's simply, as I understand it, just the addition to of a ramp and float to an already existing dock.
Yep.
Was there one there before? Not in real recent memory.
We are adding a float storage system.
On,
So that'll
Yeah.
be just off the shore.
Norman's a lot more familiar with this one. I haven't been very involved in this one, although I know Tim's told me that it seems to be.
You want me to talk about it?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, everything looks okay.
Norman Wallace from Redfish. So as Tony was saying, we're just gonna, the guy has stairs off the side of the dock now, but he'd like to have a floating ramp. There were a couple people there for the public comment site visit. I think we addressed their concerns. We're gonna add a floating ramp seasonally. We're also gonna add a storage system about 20 feet from the dock, I think. Should be detailed in your diagrams for us, to allow us to store the float up out of the water in the off-season.
Yeah. You good? All right, I move to approve both these applications. As the harbor master indicates, there's no hazard to navigation, no injury to rights of others in relation to fishing, fouling, or navigating.
I second.
No discussion, all in favor? There you go. All right. Deed of gift in form of a bench at Devil's Back on the east side.
Hi, Ken Emick from the Harpswell Town Lands Committee. I'm responding to this proposed gift for a bench. The Town Lands Committee has reviewed it actually over a couple meetings. For those who are familiar with it, there is a bench on Devil's Back West. It's a gray granite bench. It's been there over 10 years. I think it was installed within probably the first year after the trail opened. This donor wants to pretty much add an identical bench on the east side of Devil's Back. It'd be roughly halfway along the trail that goes along the water. The committee reviewed it and is in supportive of this, accepting this gift. We have, probably a couple years ago, the committee had actually identified Devil's Back East as an area that could benefit from having a bench. So the committee does recommend accepting this gift.
So there's nothing in here about installation of 400 pounds of granite, so,
Yes, and actually, one of our conditions of recommendation is that the donor have it installed. I was involved in the installation of the west side, and none of us want to do that again. So it does include installation. That will be $1,500. I had an email from the donor, and so that still puts it under the amount required for a town meeting acceptance.
Well,
Just, I guess, one quick sort of disclosure is the donor is now a member of the Town Lands Committee. When it actually started, he wasn't, and that didn't impact our recommendation, but I just sort of, it's disclosure there.
yeah. I hope you didn't discuss it too long, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not in favor of this. I don't want, I know Lester's got his there, it's been there forever,
Yeah.
but I can't see our wooded trails being memorialized by plaques. Mitchellfield's got these nice little trails and nice little benches, but, I could see a log bench down there or something like that. I just can't wrap my head around memorializing, it'd be a tombstone every mile. If we let one do it, it's kind of what we're up against on a giant staircase, Where does it stop?
Yeah, certainly, I think there's precedent. If you accept one, doesn't mean you have to accept future ones.
Yeah.
I think that.
And we probably ought to come up with a town policy, just so we don't have to do this again.
Yeah.
Well, unless Matt,
No, I agree actually
okay,
with
there
you
you
on
go.
this one.
Yeah.
I would be more apt if it was a wooden bench, but, something like that, but I'm not keen on memorializing public lands.
you can,
see, this sounds familiar. We've had this discussion.
oh, yeah, several times.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time it comes up. That's why I think we ought to come up with a policy at some point.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
This
I'm
is
fine
nice.
with that. We can add it to
Yeah,
our future agendas.
so I think this fellow just got a hold of the Mitchellfield Committee and find a spot down there.
All right.
We need a vote on that?
Are you accepting this recommendation?
No.
No, well,
No,
I
no.
think we have to vote. Would
Yep.
we have to vote to accept
Yes.
it or not accept
Yes,
it?
right.
Yeah,
Propose not to accept it, I don't know.
I move that we don't accept it.
there we go.
All right, I'll second that.
All right, any more discussion on it? All in favor? Where's Alan? Wharf lease update.
Good evening, Darcy Kuchar, Harbor Master. I'm just updating you guys that the lottery that we had back a little while ago for the Jack Dunning's wharf that he was giving up, Greg Weber had won that, and he has completed all of the requirements. He's got the insurance. He created a deed of transfer between Jack Dunning and himself for the actual material that's there, so that's all sorted out. He signed the lease, so now it's sitting here before you guys to sign off so that he can begin to use that wharf. And then in other news, we, as far as I'm aware, have not heard back from Harold Maney about his wharf. I don't know where that stands.
I reached out and talked to Harold, and he didn't get insurance, and I reached out to his daughter, and she never returned my phone call.
Okay.
So,
Because I have been contacted by the second person on the lottery list asking initially if Greg was going to take it or not, and I said, yes, he's in the process. So if there is another wharf available, we have somebody ready to move ahead on that.
there's a third wharf there. Who does that belong to?
So there's another wharf that is not currently has a float or ramp, and that belongs to James Morgan, and he's one of the original people. He's renewed it. He's paid for it. It may be something we want to discuss for next year. If somebody's not going to actually use their area, do we want to keep renewing their lease?
Yeah,
Did you say you spoke to Harold?
yeah.
And what did he say? I mean, look, I don't know if we should give him any more time. I mean, he's,
No,
No, he's,
no, I reached out to the family and,
Yeah.
and
you tried.
Harold.
Yeah.
I did. I did what I could. He told me he couldn't get insurance.
Okay.
I mean, Greg Weber got insurance, so I know it's possible to get insurance. Maybe
Yeah.
for his particular situation, he's got some issues, so I don't know how you guys want to handle
Well, I
that.
think what happened, he had insurance, let it lapse, and they, not so quick to reassign.
Yeah.
Not good when
I
you do that.
move that we assign it to the second person in the lottery. I don't happen to know who that was off the top of my.
Well, staff has a question about that. That lottery,
Yeah.
it's for all spots, or was that specific
It
to
was
one
for-
spot and you have a new lottery for other spots?
I think it was for a vacancy, because at that time, we thought that Wharf, Harold's Wharf, would also be up for somebody new to have it. And then during the process, Harold was given another opportunity. But it was the intention that 1 to 2 wharfs would be up for the lottery.
I thought the Maney one had been resolved prior to, so the question comes from the clerk's office, and so I don't think we have great clarity, and so I just wanted to ask
No.
for clarification from the select board on your intentions with that lottery. Was that for all the spots, as Darcy's indicated?
Yeah, I think that was my assumption, that would be for all the spots for this year and next year. If spots became available, we would have a new lottery next year.
So new people cannot be added to a lottery then? I guess that's the question. So you had 6 people, you drew their names in order.
Yeah.
That spot, the first one fulfilled the requirements and is now being awarded that spot this evening. So then a second one comes up. There was a question on whether you let the word back out there, you get more applicants, you get the same applicants, and you start it again. So just want it to be totally clear in the questions involved in this.
What you're saying is, do we start over?
Yeah, I think at the time we wrote the lottery, I remember because it was in the anchor and everything, it was like 2 wharf spots available. So we were thinking there were going to be 2 spots to assign to new people. And then during the process,
So-
we kind of cut Harold some extra time to reconsider if he wants to maintain his. But the intention of setting up the lottery and the way it was written was we had 2 wharfs and we were going to go down the list in order.
I think
Okay, so after these 2 spots, then it would become a new lottery?
I think so. I mean, I don't know. There's no policy to deal with James Morgan's Wharf. That's not anything we've talked about. He's an original leaseholder. He's paid his fees. There's no.
But generally speaking, if another spot
Yes.
becomes available, a new lottery would occur.
I think that would be
Okay.
the legal way to go.
Yeah, because I think wouldn't we'd find out next year when the renewal period came up, if somebody didn't renew, then I think we would, I don't know what the initials are, put out notice for a new lottery, RFP or whatever.
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing is, let's say somebody decides,
Somebody keels
In
over
2
and there's a wharf available.
I prefer to say somebody changes their mind.
Okay, whatever.
In the next 2 weeks and gives up their area. I think I'm hearing that the public was made aware of 2, but if a third one, for some reason, before next year's
Yeah.
renewal
Yeah.
time becomes available, it would be a new lottery.
Start over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe next year we can create a more standard version of, here's the list for the year for
Yeah.
any wharf that comes
That's a
open.
good idea.
Thank you for the clarification. Just wanted to be very clear.
Well, that's my recollection that what Darcy's saying is correct, that there were 2 spaces initially, and that's why there's a list and the choice of who
Yep.
came first and all that. So, yeah,
I motioned it already.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
To assign that spot to the second guy on the list, is that what
Yeah.
we're doing? Okay,
And good luck negotiating.
yep.
And then are you moving that you are going to execute the document with the number 1 spot, Gregory
Yeah, I
Weber?
move that we execute the document with the number 1 spot.
Yep.
Good job, Terry.
Second.
All in favor?
There we go.
Awesome.
All right,
you
Shore and Harbor Planning Grant.
Oh, look at you go.
Yeah, as long as you're there.
Me. Yep. So I sent some links to you guys for this. It's a Maine Coastal Program grant that comes up on a fairly regular basis. And I talked to my different committees. They are all in favor of me putting forward an application for a shore and harbor planning grant. I kind of gave you a very condensed version of what I'm writing, as well as the actual grant application, so you could see what we're applying for. My intention is to apply for some funding for different pieces of basically putting together a new harbor management plan. Our harbor management plan was last written in 2010, so it's quite outdated, doesn't really apply to what we're doing right now. We really should go forward with a new one, and I've kind of broken down the process into multiple steps of collecting data, coming up with some information based on seeing what other communities are doing, picking and choosing good policies that we would want to discuss amongst our committees and the select board, with the intention of eventually, not necessarily by next, this would start in 2027. So it would be great if we had some stuff ready for the 2028 town meeting. I'm not ambitious enough to think that, we might not need another year, because this is a big deal. There might be a lot of policies being discussed. So that is the plan. The funds would go towards a couple different pieces in there, including hiring a consultant to help with this process. Also, some marine contractors to help with some additional mooring inspection details that I want to get at. And I've included funds in there to help us purchase 2 of the Blueson buoys that we're currently now using in an array up in Middle Bay. We're leasing them for this year, plus we have some that we've borrowed from other entities. And I think that they're important enough for long-term monitoring in Harpswell that we can take advantage of leveraging the lease that we're paying this year to go towards a purchase price. And if the grant can cover that, then we can own 2 of them outright and continue to use them for the life of the units. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
You sold me with the blue zones.
So pages 12 and 13 on the description of the grant program has lots of blanks to fill in for task description and blah, blah, blah. So
I actually have a full draft all written. I just didn't,
Okay.
I didn't give it to you guys. I've got our MCOG person reviewing it, and then also someone from Island Institute. It's due August 31st, so I can
Get it out.
send you another version of the completed stuff, but that's the broad brush strokes.
Is matching funding or in-kind?
So it requires a 10% match. We're going for $50,000, which is the maximum. And I already talked to the grant administrator, and she said my time can be used as a match, and
Okay.
there is a ton of my time
Yeah.
in there built in. So that's not an issue for us.
A lot of in-kind.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I move that we apply for the grant.
I second it.
No discussion, all in favor?
When will you learn the results?
I think they're shooting to have results in October, and then it has to go through NOAA at some point in case there's any environmental stuff. But I made ours very straightforward, no drone, anything, because that's another whole level of review. Ours is very minimal impacts, minimal requirements for additional review, so it should hopefully make it simple to review and get to the other side.
All righty.
All right. And I'm still here for the next one.
Yes. Consider bid received for excess wharf ramp.
Yeah, so the 2 aluminum ramps that are living next to the generator building at Mitchell Field, I did finally have one person approach me and offer $50 for the shorter ramp, the 25-foot ramp, and I said I would bring that offer to the select board and see how you felt about it.
It's $50 more than we got for him last time.
If he gets that out of there.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's a,
Give
come
him
and get
50
it,
bucks.
where is, as is situation.
I move that we accept that.
Yeah, I don't recall that we had a close time for the bid. I mean, just where it's kind of loose. Just-
No, it's,
Please.
yeah,
Give us some money.
exactly. That person
I think
did take
Kevin's
a,
gonna get it out of there.
Yeah.
he took a closer look at the longer one, and has like some experience with aluminum welding, and noted that there were a lot of weak points in that long one, and most likely that would end up going as scrap, so,
Does he need it?
what, the
Uh,
longer one? Or?
Yeah, for scrap to help maintain the shorter one?
Yep.
2-for-1 deal?
It is a 2-for-1 deal.
Are we looking for like, hey, come get them and get them out of there? Because
Yep.
I think that could be a possibility if you would
Alright,
like
yep.
us to do that,
Yeah.
Yep.
and clear that out of there.
I think if he wanted for $50, he could have both. You can
I will let him know,
Yep.
and we will get that
I
out
move
of,
For the
that he
price
can
of
have
one,
both for
special
$50.
deal.
Yeah.
very well.
Second it. All in favor?
Second.
Yeah.
There you
Nice.
go.
All righty, I think you're done with me then.
All right. Maine Municipal Association Executive Committee.
So their executive committee is proposing a vice president and 3 executive committee members. The select board here in Harpswell at times have cast a ballot, and at other times have said we don't really know the folks who are running, and you haven't always supported the ballot, but we put it on the agenda to find out if you do want to do so, because the deadline is August 28th.
I don't know any of these people, but looking at their resume, I don't see anything wrong with them. So I move the slate.
Okay.
And I move that we designate Christie to do the vote.
Okay.
That's, we have a choice of either all of us doing it.
Okay.
She sounded pretty excited about that.
Yeah, she did.
Sort of a deer in the headlights. Ricky got
Yeah.
there.
I will do that for you.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Thank you for that authority.
Yeah, no kidding.
I wasn't expecting it.
Don't let it go to your head, that's a lot.
Exactly. All right. Public comment?
Katie Neal, Parks and Rec. As you all know, we voted as a town to move the Clark Cove project forward at our town meeting. And we have put a pause on that project for the summer, just to give everyone time to reflect. The next step in the project would be to have the select board sign a consent agreement with, sign a cooperative agreement with the state. And part of that agreement is a stewardship plan for the property. And so I have been spending some time talking with a variety of folks, including some local experts, to get their input, and have recently updated a stewardship plan that I have shared with the neighbors and shared with the Lands Committee, that we will review at our meeting on Monday, the 17th. Our meeting is at 5 p.m. and we'll be meeting in this room. And so just wanted to communicate that we're moving forward with the steps that we need to take. And so committee meetings are always open to the public.
I anticipate you might have a few people show up.
I'll be there.
That sounds great.
Anybody else for public comment? Going once, going twice, you're thinking about it. You good?
I was going to speak to something concerning the assessments, but I don't know if you want to get into that at this point. Or you want to wait until.
It's public comment.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Scott White, and I sent all three of you an email asking for some data on the assessments, and I appreciate that. I got that from Christie, so thank you all very much for providing that data. In the assessment evaluations, and looking at this, I just want to make a few open comments about this. I appreciate the fact that the town has gone through this process. I think it's very important. I've been coming to Harpswell all of my life. My grandfathers and great-grandfathers have been here for generations and so on. So I love this town, and I'm very happy to see it being maintained, and certainly appreciate the fact that tax assessments and tax revenue is a very important part of that. In the process of this assessment, with the data that you provided me, it looks like the assessments, the average increase of the assessments is at 49%, which is a fairly significant increase for any town's assessments, but also appreciate the fact that there hasn't been a proper evaluation in something like more than 20 years for Harpswell, so then maybe that's appropriate that we're taking that major step at this time. But for me personally, I am an owner in a property that's been in Harpswell for over 100 years, and with a specific cottage on it, or camp, whatever you want to call it, that's been in existence for over 80 years. And that particular property is being assessed at growing much more than the 49%, actually 118% of its prior value. And I don't want to get too deep into statistical analysis, but this is a little bit of my bag and my history, so I'll try not to bore you too much. But with a standard deviation of 13.5%, 118% represents more than a 5 times increase over the average of these assessments. A 5 times increase. So just so you understand, a standard deviation, one standard deviation is essentially representing the way the data, if you take all of the assessments that are done around the entire town, which is over 4,000 assessments, when you take all of that data, a standard deviation is giving you an idea of the distribution of that data. One standard deviation plus or minus the 49% usually represents the majority of the town's assessments. 2 standard deviations represents 95% of all of the data that's in the process. 3 standard deviations represents 99.7%. So if you're 5 standard deviations above this, you are not only well above, you are in a statistical anomaly and actually a significant outlier. And my point of this is that as a statistical outlier, there's not only a case for possibly going back in an abatement and so on to look at this assessment and make sure that it's properly done, but I also just want to raise the point that if there are outliers like that in this data, which my property happens to be, there may be others. And I think that the whole purpose of gathering this kind of data and doing the assessment in the first place is that so that we're maintaining Harpswell and maintaining proper tax revenue and so on. But I think we want to really have a fair and reasonable distribution of how those tax revenues are gathered and so on. And I'm suggesting that, certainly in my case, that doesn't really seem particularly fair, and that I think that and I certainly want to make my contribution as a good citizen and a longtime lover of Harpswell, but I think that there needs to be some pretty deeper looks into how some of these assessments came out. So I'm making a general comment there, and I'll certainly make my case through the abatement process as well, but I think that this is something that's very serious, and I suspect I'm not the only one in such a case. So. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Thank you for the time. I appreciate it.
Anybody else? Public comment? Other business? Nothing?
No.
Matt? David? No. All right. There's nothing less to do then. To adjourn.